a lot of the tools didn't even give you like the option to schedule out a time of day when you want the report to run. And all of a sudden, some of these reports are running overnight, week after week, and they're all just red all of a sudden. And it's because the business isn't open. Or it's even worse if it's like the morning and maybe your competition opens up like a half hour before you. Being open is very much a ranking factor, and it varies depending on the keywords and the type of services you're looking for.
Hey, welcome to episode 257. And Elder Cohn could not be with us on the demo side, so we have his stunt double. And his stunt double is TJ Elder here in the United States. So TJ is going to walk us through Local Dominator, and we're very excited. We switched from our old vendor to Local Dominator. Quite a bit of savings for us, and then a few other features that the other product we were using didn't have. So here today is TJ. TJ, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm excited to talk about Local Dominator. It's been really cool using this tool for a lot of our client projects over the past couple of months, and there's definitely some awesome features. So yeah, looking forward to it.
Cool. Well, lead us through it. Let's see what we got.
All right. So I figured I could just kind of walk through the process of showing a setup in Local Dominator. And if you're just getting started with it, like, what does it look like? How do you add keywords in there? What does it all mean? So let's see if I can pull up my screen. All right. Here we go. Cool. So yeah, I'm in Local Dominator. Obviously you need to sign up and get a plan first before you can get in here, but they actually have some really good intro offers. So you can kind of get started for like, I don't know, like $5, and you can get going for a month and get in and try it out. And given the time of year here, they've got a little flash sale. So I guess they do that from time to time with the little Halloween graphic here. But once you've got some credits or you're signed up, you'll get to a page like this. And what I did here is I just went to this little grid icon, which is kind of representing the GeoGrid rank tracker tool. And I clicked on new scan. So I'm on that page right now. And today, since we're in, or since I'm in Denver and my house is a mess, I figured we could look at some house cleaning companies to kind of get that fixed up. And I found one company that is seems to be doing pretty well as far as ranking for terms locally, and their GVP does pretty well. So let's just dig into them and see how they compare to their competition in the area. So to get started, like, you want to just type your business. It's very easy. So I'm going to put in 5280 house cleaners, or house cleaning rather. And we'll do this first one that pops up. So it's really easy to find your business. You don't have to like go into any GBP settings or connect anything like that. You can just type it into the box, and it uses Google's search function to pull up listings. So all I did so far is look that up, click on it, and right off the bat, now we're focused on the map on the location of where this business is. And we're ready to start adding keywords that we want to see how well we're showing up for. So one of the cool features that you'll see on the screen right off the bat that I haven't seen in other tools is it looks like we're using some kind of AI to kind of give a guesstimate of what are some of the high intent, high volume keywords that you'd want to be ranking for. So what I find a lot of times when I'm setting up new scans in here, it's like, oh, the keyword I was going to pick is already here, and all I just need to do is click on it.
Yeah.
So that's really nice. And I've got a couple other keywords I'm going to throw in here as well. but these ones look pretty good. So we'll stick with house cleaners near me, affordable cleaning services near me, and cleaning companies Denver. So that's a good mix of, near me, having Denver the location in the keyword, mentioning services, mentioning affordable. You know what? I'm going to add one more just for best as well. So we'll just run 4 keywords here and we can close out of this. And then the next step that typically you're going to want to do is adjust your map grid settings. So by default, you're going to get a circle with a mile radius. I think it's a mile radius. It might be a mile diameter, but either way, it's adjustable. And usually you're just eyeballing this. You're not like, I need to be within exactly a mile ranking. So
Obviously, the bigger you get, the more cost there's going to be involved in it. So, right, in terms of
kind of. So you can go bigger and you can just do less pins.
okay,
So that's a way if you want to cover more space, you can do that. You just have less resolution, I guess. So less points within that space. But all of that setup with the map grid is really flexible, and you can have 2 different like starting base shapes. So you can switch it to a square, which is really helpful. Like some cities are just shaped like a circle, some are a square. So you get whatever shape fits better to start, and then you can start customizing it further from there.
okay,
So for this, I'm going to do a square, and I'm going to just do a little less points. And I'm just going to go back to a mile. And let's just take a look at this area around this business and see how they're ranking. I do want to say, like, if you have some areas that are surrounded by water, or maybe if there are some points up in here where there's no people, then you
right,
can save some money by just clicking on the pin, and then it won't scan that pin.
yeah.
So
So
sometimes I like,
markets like Chicago or even New York or Salt Lake City, where there's a vast body of water, you want to get rid of those pins.
yeah. And in the past with other tools, we've unfortunately burned a lot of credits because you can't just remove them. So
Right.
sometimes I'll try to make like a little pretend circle out of it too, if there's just some points that are a little farther away that you don't want to include. But in this case, we're probably going to just go with the whole area. All these look like decent places. So the only other thing I'll show as far as the map grid settings is you can just click and move it around. So maybe we want to do like a little bit more centered on Denver than it was. So it's really easy to do that. I always try to place a pin kind of right where the business is, so we know exactly how are we doing if somebody was right outside your business and searching, because if you're not ranking there, then you're definitely got some issues. So yeah, other than that, it's pretty much all you need to do to get set up and going. So yeah, unless there's anything else, I think we can go ahead and do the scan.
Perfect.
So just click on the scan button here, and then you should get a message that says success. Your heat map was successfully submitted. One of the things that I think is awesome about Local Dominator is how fast these scans go compared to a lot of tools. I was used to waiting like several minutes for these to run. But let's see what happens when I go to history here. So you can see 1, 2, 3, 4. These are already good to go. I can just click on this button here and I can see what the results of the scan are. So this is interesting because I actually ran this company a little while ago, and they were ranking great. And today, so far, not as good. Maybe it's just that keyword though. So let's take a look at the other keywords as well. And I guess before I jump into that, let me back up a little bit. Right off the bat, you can get some information about the average rank. So that one was 17.43.
Okay.
The other ones look a lot better. So let's get those ones opened up and see, how they do for a different set of keywords. So I'm just going to open all four of these and we'll just kind of switch from each one. So, for best cleaning services near me, we can see that there's no green points here, which means they're not in the map pack, even right where their business is for this keyword. So Google does not think that they're the best cleaning services to show to people. If you're not worried about getting the best cleaning done, and you're just looking for house cleaners, they're looking a little better for that one. So let's take a look at this map because it's got a little bit of each color on it. And basically what this means is like the one with the star is meaning that you're the very first listing in the rankings. And when I say rankings here, this is as if you were going to Google Maps and you searched house cleaners near me in Google Maps and got a list of businesses there. So they're number one right where their location is, and they've got a few other places where they're in the top three. If you're in the top three, it's a much greater likelihood that you'll be in the map pack in Google search. And really that's what the goal is when you're looking at these tools, is to increase the number of green listings that you've got and decrease the number of red ones and 20 plus ones. This is a near me keyword. So it's pretty typical of what you see with near me, where by adding near me into your search, you're telling Google, I want some local options. So there's probably, a good many house cleaning services that could service these areas, but Google is probably going to show the results based on vicinity. And that's where you'll see typically you're ranking pretty well close by, and then you're falling off as you get further and further out. In this instance, they're probably, the closer points where they're not ranking as well. It's likely because there's just more competition, so more density of competition. So, speaking of that, let's take a look at how we can see how our competitors are doing compared with us for these keywords. So if you click down at the bottom here, it should load up a list of competitors, and you should be able to click on their maps to see how they are doing. You can also click on one specific point, and you can kind of get this competitor list to pull up. And from there, you can see on this little 4, you want to know why aren't we ranking and who's beating us there, right?
Yeah.
So we clicked on 4. We can see that we're in the 4th position here, and we've got healthy, happy homes, neat and tidy, and first class housekeeping. You can see their average ranks to get an idea of how they're ranking across the whole area. And you can click on them and see what their map looks like.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
Yeah. So let's take a look at healthy, happy homes. You can see for house cleaners near me, they've got a much bigger presence in this area. They're getting more map pack spots. They've got more number 1 spots. So you can see, what is possible as far as what you need to do, or in some instances, nobody's going to own this many high ranking points. So it's good to know for this keyword, how competitive is it? And what does it look like when the best competitors are how well are the best competitors doing, essentially.
Right.
So I'm just going to refresh this and see if I can get the competitors to load. Yeah, so this is what that normally looks like. So before I clicked on a pin, you can see that, and you can kind of switch into the competitor maps from there. But typically you're going to want to look at the competition and just be able to scan through. Like, look at how fast the different maps load up for to be able to easily see how well the competition's doing. So, for this keyword, house cleaners near me, they're doing not too bad. I mean, they're the fourth ranking business for this whole area. But we do have some competitors beating them. You can see some of the stats about the competitors, and you can easily open them up in Google and check them out in more detail from there with this button. But you can see like the amount of reviews and the rating that these other businesses have. So it's pretty cool to be able to switch quickly between the competitors like that. So yeah, Bob, any thoughts or questions or?
Yeah, there's a couple of dynamics too we should throw out there when you run these reports, and correct me on this or help dial me in here on this. If you run the report after your business hours, you may not get will you get the same results or will you get different results? In other words, you run it at midnight. Is it going to show something different or how's that work?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. You definitely want to make sure you're running the scans when your business is open. Otherwise, you're doing yourself a disservice. So, that was something that kind of came on to the algorithm, I want to say like a year and a half or maybe even 2 years ago now, where all of a sudden, a lot of the tools didn't even give you like the option to schedule out a time of day when you want the report to run. And all of a sudden, some of these reports are running overnight, week after week, and they're all just red all of a sudden. And it's because the business isn't open. Or it's even worse if it's like the morning and maybe your competition opens up like a half hour before you. But being open is very much a ranking factor, and it varies depending on the keywords and the type of services you're looking for. But yeah, if you're looking for lunch restaurants near you and it's, a Monday at noon and one restaurant's closed that day, it's not a good user experience for Google to show you a bunch of closed restaurants. So it makes sense.
Yeah.
So that's a great question. And I'll say that we're doing like one-off scans here so far. But if you want, I can show you kind of what it looks like for when you set up a recurring scan.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to bring in a tab that I've got open over here. And this is one of our clients, so we won't disclose who it is just for their confidentiality. But you can see like the map looks a little different. So before, it looks like this. On a recurring scan, you've got this bar going across the top, and you can go back to each of the last scans and you can see the difference in the map over time, which is super helpful. So, how are we doing back in October? At the beginning of October, looked like we had an average rank of 10, and now we've got an average rank of 11.54. So we got a little work to do to get that back up.
Yep.
And that's what you want to be able to do and monitor. So, I mean, in this instance, still a lot of green high ranking points for this. So nothing too concerning. We're not falling off the map here. But good to be able to see that over each scan. Otherwise, most of the stuff is the same, but if you are setting up the scan for recurring, in addition to the keywords and the map grid, you get this schedule. option. So we're running these reports weekly at Friday at 1 p.m. And we're making sure to do that when the business is open.
Yeah, it's important.
Yeah. So we've got, two other keywords to look at here for 5280 house cleaning. Once again, affordable cleaning services. We can see how they're doing on that keyword. So we're even better on that keyword. So they're third there, and there's only two competitors ahead of them. And then the last keyword, cleaning companies, Denver. This one's even better, I would say. Oh, surprising. So, let me just show you what I'm seeing between the different keywords here. So just backing up as a reminder, best cleaning services near me, not looking good at all. House cleaners near me, much better, fourth overall. Cleaning companies, Denver, again, fourth overall. But what's really interesting on this keyword specifically is how many more high ranking points and how well the top companies are doing here. So cleaning companies, Denver, there's a company in first here who's owning the whole entire map. So that seems to be possible to do here, where it's not possible to do it with house cleaners near me. And again, that's probably the vicinity aspect of having the near me. Google's just showing closer businesses everywhere you go, where you look on the map. And then affordable, it could be that they rank better for that keyword because the reviews mention that they're more affordable. So Google wants to show relevant results. I guess nobody's calling them the best, but they might not be the most expensive either. So they're doing a little better on that. So I think that's pretty much everything as far as just like a introductory walkthrough of Local Dominator and how to look at it. We kind of focused in on the map rankings and the GeoGrid report here, but they actually have some other cool features in Local Dominator that we use here at Intrix as well, and that is the GBP posting tool. So you can schedule out Google posts. You can schedule out photos to go out in the future. So if you want to have like two or four fresh photos going out every week, or maybe you want to put a photo every day, you can kind of do that stuff in bulk and have it go out in advance. And there's some other features in there as well, kind of related to managing your Google business profile, which is pretty cool.
Cool. Now, do they do anything with review, like review monitoring, reporting, response, so to speak, with reviews? Or
yeah, I think this would be a better question for someone on the team, I think, but I do believe that they've got the ability to view reviews.
Okay.
But I don't know if you can reply to them directly through here.
Okay.
Probably should know that.
Well, and I would say too that, like, again, our impetus was to, like anybody, we're trying to save some money, and I think this saved us at least 30%, if not more, on our costs. And for a big agency, that's a big thing. We tested this for 2-3 weeks, before we, made the decision to switch over. But so far we've been using it for about 40 days, right? And we're pretty happy with it, right?
Yeah, definitely not looking back on the switch.
Cool.
And it did just double check, and you can totally go in there, reply to reviews, and be able to manage all that as well. So I think pretty much anything that can connect to the Google Maps API can be managed through Local Dominator, which is awesome.
Yeah. So if you're like me, you know, you always want to test stuff, test it for a while before you make a wholesale change. They've got all kinds of packages for that to do that. And then they have, you know, again, depending on your size, if you're a larger agency, they have more aggressive pricing and stuff. So, and we should have QR codes if you're watching this on YouTube. We are an affiliate, so we've become an affiliate. It helps us out if you do decide to sign up for Local Dominator. If you click on our QR code or go to our link, that helps us out tremendously. And then, of course, if you need help with your own site or your GVP, we'd be happy to sit down, do an audit with you, see how we can help you and give you whatever suggestions or services that we provide as well. So any parting thoughts or suggestions on this, TJ, or do you think we covered it all?
No, I think it's a good introductory walkthrough. So
cool. Well, we're gonna wrap things up. Our next episode is with a coach of mine. His name is Aiden Silvers. He's part of the 7-figure agency organization, and so he has a specialty in doing digital marketing for the lawn care industry, and he's a great guy. He's hung out with Gary V. He's a good friend of Gary V's and whatnot. So that's going to be an exciting episode. So make sure you check that out in the next episode coming up. So with that, we're going to let you go. TJ, really appreciate your help in all this, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Thanks for having me on.
Thanks for watching Local SEO Tactics podcast. If you found this episode valuable, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss new insights. We've got more expert tips on SEO, AEO, and digital marketing strategies coming your way every week. Want to dive deeper? Check out our other videos right here, or grab our free resources in the description below. Thanks again for tuning in, and remember, staying ahead online starts right here.